We got about 56 to 57 acres here of corn. This is that corn that I think I mentioned to you guys earlier that sustained the hailstorm back in May and the microburst after that, like 90-mile-an-hour wind. So it was off to a really bad start from the get-go. And final stand count ended up being about 24,000. Believe it or not, there's spots in here making over 200 bushel, and there's spots that's making about 60 bushel. So it is what it is. We're back at it here. We got over here behind me, I'll show you in a second, semi truck getting loaded up. Jacob's doing that off the grain cart. Let me get myself turned around here. Hard to do here with this one-handed business again. Alright, we're getting lined her out here. Oh, and I see Dad pulling in just now with our grain truck also. Let's see, get a look at it over there. The only thing bad about GoPros is you can't zoom in, so hopefully you can see kind of what I'm looking at. That's Jacob in the tractor and the grain cart, loading up the truck, and just coming up over the hills, Dad in our grain truck. So we've been out here since, I don't know, 10 o'clock this morning or so. We're probably, let's see, about 40% complete with all of this. Don't exactly know how much we'll get done today. Kind of depends on the trucking situation and how fast we can keep it hauled away. This farm is about 9 or 10 miles from our home farm, and there's no grain bin here, so we've got to take it all back to the house. Well, we're still getting the corn in. So currently I'm in the field by myself, which is always a fun job with the corn. The semi truck got loaded. Our grain truck that Dad's driving got loaded, and Dad actually took Jacob back with him to get another truck so we can get it loaded. So the grain cart's sitting at the far end behind me. Holy cow, look at this. Whoa. Hope you guys can spot that. That was a big buck deer. I'm gonna have to look at the footage to make sure he got on film. I'm gonna say at least a 10 or 12 pointer. And kind of ironically, I saw that deer in this field, I don't know how long ago it's been, a little while back, but we were scouting. The video that I had scouting soybeans with the drone, about 2 weeks after that we actually scouted some cornfields, and this was one of those. Over on the far side, those pesky critters do quite a bit of damage and let cuckleburs, mostly in this field, become a major problem over along the far side of the woods. When we get back there later on, I'll try to show you how come it's such a really good deer habitat. But I was flying my drone around scouting the field, and I was actually in that back corner. It was up in the evening, 7 o'clock-ish, just enough daylight to be flying a drone. And I was buzzing around pretty high up because I was wanting to get an overview, and I saw a big something moving around. And by the time I got the drone down and positioned the camera to catch him, all I saw was his about half of him from the back heading into the woods. But I saw the rack on him, but I couldn't get the camera. Getting a phone call here. No, nothing important there. But I didn't quite get them on film, but I hope I got them that time. And I did see a couple more does back there. This is a notoriously bad farm for deer and soybean crop. Yeah, the back 5 or 8 acres, sometimes 10 acres, they will completely destroy. Okay, so I just checked the footage. Good news and bad news on the deer. Good news is he's on film. Bad news is he's kind of far enough away that I don't know how well you're going to be able to see. So so whenever I post this video, I will try to hopefully get a still shot of that and blow it up so we can have a good look at it. Good sized deer. Personally, I don't deer hunt mainly because I don't have time, but I am a strong proponent of anyone that does. And that one probably is going to end up as a trophy on somebody's wall come gun season, which I believe is somewhere around the second week of November. So it's currently the first week of October, so his days might be numbered. But they seem to get really smart when gun season comes around. But anyway, enough talking about deer. That's not what we're doing out here. We're getting corn in, and we are pegging along here. This particular spot that we're in, the instant yield is around 115 bushels, so it is what it is. There are spots that are better, there are spots that are worse. But maybe when I get up here to the end, yeah, probably gonna have to unload, and I may actually hop out, move the grain cart, since I'm here by myself for a little bit, and I might try to show you something if I can get close to it up here. But it's a lot of up and downs, a lot of back and forths, especially in a field this size. So luckily, Jacob has been here for the vast majority of it to unload me. This field is big and long and flat, well, flat for the most part. I guess you should at least get a look at it. Back kind of behind me, not necessarily so much in front of it. You might see a few of those little dips and valleys there. The further this direction that we get, the more pronounced those dips and valleys actually become. And there's a couple of what I call bowls. I don't know if that's a technical term or not, over on the far side where it's just straight down and straight back out. Not really severe, but it's definitely, if you have a problem area, it's going to be down in that bowl most likely. So in a drought year, that might be the best corn. We'll see when we get there. That's quite the ways over. But you guys can see there behind me in the back window, it's piling up pretty good. The corn is very, very, very dry. The monitor here is reading like 14%. Somehow I think it's drier than that. I didn't even bring along the moisture tester, but you can kind of tell when it gets in the tank, it doesn't pile up at all. It just flattens off on top, and every little bump you hit, it just shakes, and it just, you can just pile it in there when it's like that. So that's a good thing, very good thing. So we don't have to worry so much about putting that in a bin. If you put it in there dry and you maintain its dryness with your fan, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. I know right up in here, in this area of the field, there was something I was going to try to show you guys if I can find it, and I hope I don't find it the hard way. And you may be able to catch my drift on what exactly I'm referring to. I know that there are some large holes out here, big sinkholes, and I know that there are some right in this vicinity, or there used to be. Let me put you guys down for a minute and make sure that I don't hit something here, and I'll check back with you in just a second. Well, we're getting ready to unload here, and you would know, literally just as I was talking about, I was in the vicinity of that big hole, and just as soon as I put you guys down right here on the seat beside of me, I was going really slowly, looking, and then the front right tire here, it finds it for me. Didn't hurt anything, luckily, but it's quite the large hole. So after I get unloaded, get myself turned back around, I might hop out here and show you guys this hole. There's multiple holes in this field. We don't exactly know why there are seemingly so many in this field. Some of them have been quite impressive holes. And at certain times, maybe not necessarily this year since it's been so dry, at certain times when it's wet, you can look down in the bottom of those holes. Some of them are 6, 8, 10 feet deep, and you can literally see water running. So apparently there is underground creeks or river or something that are close here, and all the water that gets in this field just goes, it's kind of like natural field tile almost, goes down in that hole and out to wherever it goes, which we are close to the Rolling Fork River, which is the main waterway in this area. It's probably less than, I'm going to say, a mile, maybe a little more that direction over that way. So I'm sure the water is heading there. And we're just about unloaded here. I need to get out and stretch my legs for a minute anyway, because it is almost 4 o'clock, and the last time I was out was lunchtime. So just every so often you just need to get out and get some blood back from the waist down. After sitting for several hours at a time, the legs start to go tingly and the butt starts to hurt, even though the seat's nice and squishy. So let me get up here a little ways. We'll get back in this row here where the hole is. But now I know. I'll show you how I know now. Kind of funny. We don't necessarily have the row of shame. We have the rows of shame, I suppose, but that's not all my fault, and that's a complicated story. But the way this field is at the far end, it's fairly difficult to maintain which row you're on, because there's a barn in there that cuts some of that off. And you may be able to spot right over there those couple of corn stalks. Yeah, I'll hop out here and show you what we're looking at. Get this thing here slowed down a bit. Alright. Get out, get some blood in the leaves. Oh! Woo! Oh yeah, look at that. Kind of makes you want to clean the ladder off. Probably a good idea every once in a while, a few 4 or 5 hours, to get out and walk around the machine too, just to make sure everything's doing what it's supposed to do. But here is our hole. Get these here big pigweeds out of the way so we can get a better look at just how big. Holy cow. And I know that you guys aren't going to be able to determine how deep that is on camera, but I literally cannot see the bottom. Oh, I wish I had a rock or something to throw in there. Well, here lays a corn cob. So here we go. We're gonna see if we can, hope you can see down in there. We're gonna drop the corn cob in. You guys watch. It literally completely disappears. I don't know how deep that would be. Probably, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 feet. Matter of fact, we have tape measure. We'll just experiment here for a moment. Wow. Well, let's put it this way. My tape measure is 12 feet. I don't want to extend it all the way out, but right there, if you can see that, is 11 feet, and I have hit nothing. And as far in here as I want to poke, oh wait a minute, there's the bottom. So there's 11 feet. So that hole is about 13 feet deep. So my 6 or 8 or 10 foot guess was a little shy. Now I got to get my tape measure rolled back up, so bear with me for a moment. And that's the one that my front tire fell in. Luckily it wasn't too big around. But here's how I knew where it was after the fact. I kept thinking, oh, there should be a flag. Oh, there's the flag. It's 2 feet tall and half gone. Well, the flag did its purpose probably while we were planting and maybe even spraying. But now that the corn is 7-8 foot tall, the flag's not doing so good. But while we're out here, we'll take a quick look at some of this corn also. You can see here that these ears are pointing downward, at least for the most part. These two are. That one's still up. This one's kind of starting to lean over, so that's usually a pretty good indication that the corn is dry and ready to harvest. So that's why we're here. And I'm just trying to think of about how long they might be gone. I think I might leave that grain cart, and they should be back shortly. At least one of them will. But I am going to walk around the machine here just to make sure that there's nothing out of whack. Got a big hunk of grass, something here wedged in the head. Alright, let's just walk around, make sure everything is still doing what it's supposed to. This is one view you wouldn't want to have with the combine going at full speed. Yeah. Belts are still on, everything seems to be in pretty good shape, so nothing to be too awfully alarmed about. All the snouts are still intact. This is the one that fell off. I think I mentioned that. So I'm gonna climb back up in here and we'll get back going again. Probably gonna be, like I said, it's about 4 o'clock. Probably gonna be running here for, well, as long as we have daylight and trucks to put it on. So I better get back at it because they're gonna be waiting. All right, I'm gonna need your guys' help with something here. We got all these little odd and end chunks that we had broke loose, I guess, for lack of a better term, out of the way. So what we got to do now is go over here and count some rows over. We have to count in multiples of 6. So if you don't know your multiplication tables for 6, you're going to be in trouble. We got to count an increment of 6, whichever one you want to go with. And there we are, unloaded. And put the pipe in, and off we go. Get over here where the corn is, and the sun is right in my face. Now see what I'm dealing with. Now don't get this wrong now, because if you get this wrong, we're going to end up with the row of shame, and I'll blame it on you guys. So we're just going to creep along beside it here. So I counted the 36th row, not saying that I did it correctly either. The 36th row is the one just to the right of my head. So if I did that correctly, we should be able to go down to the far end, back up that far side, and no matter how we do it now, we'll have a block of 6, hopefully. At least that's the plan. We're pegging along here, trying to keep it up running somewhere in the vicinity of 4 miles an hour. Just, you kind of got to keep the combine full. I know that if you're not familiar with the way a combine works, that doesn't make sense. But if you don't have the combine full, it doesn't thrash effectively. It will do it, but you're not getting all you can out of it. So here we are, yeah, 4 miles an hour right there, and 183 bushel right through there. Pretty good spot. So I'm going to try to turn around here again with this one-handed deal. Down here with a big patch of pigweeds and a random tree that's down in the edge of the field, messing up my turnaround. Right there, see that big mess? Well, I got to back up, try to get around that without hitting or tearing up anything. Yeah. Anybody need some firewood? Not sure how long that's been there, but it sure is in my way. Alright, trying to get set back in here. Something to that effect, right in there. And back at it again.